It is a beautiful day to go fishing. Who knows, maybe I'll catch a saber-toothed salmon. It would probably be a little bit easier to see the fish on the shallow end. Oh yeah, much better. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Hello YouTube, and welcome to ARK Survival Evolved. This is one of my favorite games. It's huge, it's expansive. They just added this map, Ragnarok, not too long ago, and I swear, just everywhere I go is just a beautiful sight. The water in this game is probably one of the best water mechanics I've ever seen in any game. Not only that, but they take a lot of detail to the land as well. If you go to the Redwood Forest, which I believe there's one on every map except for the desert one, it looks beautiful. Probably my favorite place to go. Anyways, I spent the day fishing. I didn't really get too much. I only caught like 3 or so fish. It got late, so I decided I had to go back. Oh, and by the way, the actual game physics of going from day to night is way smoother. That's just me trying to use the admin tool to get a good shot, but didn't really work out. So here is the harbor, and this is basically a whole town that is run by these ships. That's people, they fish and they can get stuff from the fish and they can sell the fish, and that's how they make the money. This is all built by just me. Like, this isn't a part of the game, this city here. I built it for this video because I thought it would look cool. The game itself does have some structures like lighthouses and stuff, but nothing really usable. For the most part, the game just gives a ginormous wilderness, and you have to go and collect all the wood and the thatch and the metal or whatever you want to use to build all the things like weapons or boats or even these bases I have here. In my case, I built a town, but most people just make a base. Now, this is a survival game, so you do need to eat and drink. That's why I'm giving my teammate here some food, because otherwise she's just going to starve to death. There's also other elements such as cold and heat, so sometimes when it's night, you want to make a fire so you don't freeze. And also the wilderness itself. You might run into bugs and insects that will poison you, but the biggest problem is other people. There are modes in the game to avoid this problem, but for the most part, the PvP in it is amazing. So fighting other players, taking their loot is really a huge part of this game, even though I try to avoid it. Personally, I play in PvE, where it's player versus the environment. But in this video's sake, I was role-playing as just a simple fisherman. I have a really small house, and the captain is rich. Now, in this city that I built, there's a division between the rich and the poor. As you can see in the poverty section, the houses are actually kind of destroyed, so there really wouldn't be much of a reason to loot these guys. What I really want to do is make my way to the captain's quarters. In real PvP, this would be much harder, but for the sake of the video, I made it pretty simple for myself. I just had to dodge my way around some security guards and make sure I did it fast enough that the sun didn't come out before I got there. Not only that, but this is a very primitive town. The best weapon we have is a spear. So this mission of looting the captain's base is obviously far easier than it would be in an actual online PvP server. In one of those servers, my first experience with another player's base was being shot by an automated turret before I even knew what was going on. Fortunately, because I'm the ruler of this world, looting is as simple as opening the front door. In most cases, looting a base like this isn't really possible unless you're inside the tribe that owns the building. So the way that a tribe works is you have a group of people that are all under the same name. Now basically what that means is anything built under that tribe's name is accessible by the members of that tribe. So if they build a base, the tribe members then have access to the doors. Pretty simple. Obviously it's far more complex, such as the automated turret I talked about earlier. That's not going to shoot your own tribe mates. Another huge factor in this game is the tameable dinos. This game is massively based around prehistoric times when dinosaurs still existed. These dinosaurs can then be captured and tamed by your tribe, and at that point, the function of that dinosaur can only be used by your tribe, whether it be to ride or sent to attack something. Anyways, getting back into the story that I've been working on for so long but have yet been able to narrate it properly. You just saw me loot the captain. Now I came outside onto his balcony for a good view of the city, and he came up behind me. Needless to say, I was caught. I was imprisoned and scheduled to be banished from the tribe. This is nothing new to ARK. This actually happens on official online servers quite a lot. When a new member of a tribe is caught stealing or using items that don't belong to them, they're often kicked out of the tribe and have to forfeit all of their personal items, and even the dinosaurs that they tamed remain with the tribe. Now, custody of a dino after a split of a tribe is usually where most of the frustration comes from. Dinos in this game actually take a lot of time and dedication to tame. One of the most popular ways to obtain a dino is actually to have a fertilized egg from two dinosaurs breeding together and then raising that egg from a baby to an adult. This method of obtaining a dinosaur is far more time consuming, and beyond that, you really care about the dino because you raised it from just a baby. Now, some of these dinos, I'm not kidding, they take forever to tame. Some T-Rexes in the wild, if you wanted to tame them with tranq darts, it would take 6 hours. A dinosaur that I had as a baby, an egg, was scheduled to take 11 days before reaching maturity. And it takes a whole lot of dedication. This isn't just pop it and in 11 days it'll be done. You have to actually be there, at least in the baby stage, almost the entire time. So almost 3 days straight of constantly making sure that the baby is well fed and healthy and being taken care of at specific intervals throughout the process. Now at this point, you guys might be wondering why on earth anyone would actually take the time to do something like that. Well, the easy answer is that dinosaurs make life easier. The fish that you're about to see come up on the screen, that big one, you can actually tame that and harvest its meat without actually killing the fish. The process is called scraping, and you can actually feed your entire colony for several days from one scrape. Throughout this voyage, I try to show just how big this map is. Traveling is one of the most important reasons to own a dinosaur. To get from one side to the other side on foot, you're more than likely to die of starvation, not to mention the threats that a dinosaur can protect you from. Of course, my tribe decided to dump me in the middle of nowhere, and in fact, on an island far off from the central mainland. This is very similar to what it looks like when you spawn in as a new survivor. At this point, the most important step you can take is to find a place with plenty of resources and build yourself a shelter. Try not to wander off too far looking for the perfect location. It's more important to set up a base of operation where you can craft yourself survival tools, and you'll be better off to face the harsh environment to find a place to call home. And when I say environment, there's different temperatures, so you can overheat or you can be too cold, but you definitely want to be near water. Another factor you might want to think about is the animals in your location. Fortunately, on the island that I decided to live on, there are no predators. That is, of course, if I decide not to pick a fight with them. But where else will I get my food? I decided it was time to start building a base, and this one has to be bigger than my shack back home. The reason for that being is there's two types of bases. One being styled like a town, where each building has its own purpose, and the one with your bed in it doesn't need to be that big, because all the machines can be stored in other ones. The second type of base is where everything is confined under one roof. Depending on how many machines and dinosaurs you plan on owning, your base can get quite large. This is why most players decide to build a gate instead of an actual building. I'm going to be starting out with just a thatch hut, barely big enough for a couple of crafting stations. It doesn't need to be much, it just needs to be enough to be home. As time playing this game goes on, the main thing that you're going to be upgrading is your base. Mostly because you need more room, otherwise it's going to be really cluttered. But one thing that every single base has in common is that it needs a bed. Don't ask where I got the skin. Once your base is complete, you can start putting down the essentials of survival. Starting off with food, you can place down a fire and hunt for meat. Or if you prefer a more leisure lifestyle, you can plant a garden and feed off the produce. Of course, I chose a campfire that will later on turn into an industrial-sized grill and hunting down meat with assault rifles and plastic explosives. The constant adventures of this game is probably one of the reasons I love it so much. You can discover new creatures in a cave you've never explored before, just to come out to see a rock monster the size of a mountain. And yes, these are all real things that can actually happen within the ARK. I'm willing to share my whole experience with you guys, and I actually really enjoy playing this game. It's a little hard to narrate, so I'm probably going to switch over to an actual official online server, but give me a thumbs up if you guys want to see more of this game. Until next time, I'm Titanium Blood, drive sideways.